Happy New Year. Welcome to the world's #1 podcast. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant.
Hello there.
And Karl Pilkington.
Alright.
We have had an overwhelming response from emails. To be honest, we're very grateful and thank you so much, but we've had over 4,000, which is just too many to get through. So we're going to have to apologise for not getting back to you. We are going to try and read them all, but we just can't reply. We do this ourselves. We're three little fellas. We haven't got an entourage and millions of people working for us. It's just us in a little room. But thank you so much. One in particular, remember a couple of weeks ago we asked if there's any house DJs out there, maybe they could do a dance mega mix with the words, "I could eat a knob at night." Karl just said that in conversation, talking about someone in a reality game show, "I'm a celebrity, get me out of here," who ate a kangaroo penis. And he just came out with the phrase, "I could eat a knob at night." Someone has risen to the challenge. We had about 70 different songs. We're going to play our favourite at the end of the show, and maybe put some of the others on the website, rickygervais.com, so you can go there and hear great dance tracks. They're all called "I Could Eat a Knob at Night."
Oh, no one's switching off now. Everyone's guaranteed they're going to stay right to the end there so they can hear, I want a bit of knob at... Was it? I could eat a knob at night.
I could eat a knob at night.
It's funny, it was only a while ago you were talking about getting quoted, like Winston Churchill got quoted and Ben Franklin got quoted, and now you may go down in history, "I could eat a knob at night," Karl Pilkington.
Karl, I could eat a knob at night, Pilkington.
Talking of all things nobular, I got a text from Karl yesterday, Steve.
A text from Karl, yeah.
Yeah. I'll just read it to you. "Okay, see you to Moz for a face rub at 6:30 then. No bum tubes, though." So I was intrigued, and I called Karl and said, "I think you've just sent me a text by mistake. What's the explanation of that? See you tomorrow for a face rub.
Yeah.
No bum tubes, though."
Just because my mate, right, Russell...
Why did he choose you?
He said, you know, there's things that go on in life that you need to experience.
Yeah.
He said, just pop along, and I didn't say yes straight away.
What's a face rub? You mean a facial? Like a facial?
Just like a posh face wash.
Like a facial, where you lay down...
You just clean your face with a flannel and that.
So you're going to have a facial scrub, you're going to go lie down with another man and have your face
Well,
filled
no,
with
this is what I was saying to him. There's a couple of questions. I didn't just say yes straight away, I questioned it. I said, well, I'm not that happy with this. I said, look, there's nothing weird going on here, is there? I said, it's not a house, is it? It's a proper clinic and that. He said, yeah, it's proper, you wear a dressing gown and that. I said, well, I'm not that
So
happy
he's
with
already
that.
got you in the dressing gown?
Yeah, well, I haven't agreed to that. Today I've worn a little round polar neck sort of jumper so I don't have to take it off. It's not going to get in the way of my face. I made sure I didn't wear a shirt with a collar. I'm not taking this off. They can put the dressing gown on top of this.
Right.
If you have to do it to look smart or whatever. I'm not taking my clothes off. Okay. I don't know if it's a woman who rubs my head. Don't know if it's a bloke or whatever.
Well, the thing is, you get extra, don't you, for your face rub, because your face goes all the way back over the top of your head down to the back of your neck.
But all I was...
So you've got a big face, haven't you?
All I was saying to him is, I'll have the face rub, but I don't know if once you're in there,
right,
they try and sell you the old... the bum tube thing.
What's a bum tube? Is that a euphemism? What are you talking about?
The thing where they pop a tube in and put coffee in your belly and it cleans you out and that.
An enema?
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
A colonic irrigation?
Yeah.
Why would you have that?
I don't want it. I don't think
Why
you
not?
need to. Just because I think I've said to you before about, you know, you don't need to be that clean inside. You know what I mean? I don't mind washing my face. But at what occasion do you need where you're that cleaned out? Do you know what I mean? And it's always a clear tube and that, and you see all the stuff whizzing past. I don't understand why it's clear. I don't know why you've got to see what's coming out of you. Like it's, you know, like the generation game, making notes of what's whizzing past. Forget it.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Over the Christmas break, I was watching some different TV. Saw an amazing documentary. It was called Tribes. This guy, and he goes and lives with different tribes around the world. These small little indigenous people. And there was one. He went to Papua New Guinea in Indonesia. Right, Karl? He lived with the Kombai tribe. All right. Now, this Papua New Guinea is an extraordinary place because it is one of the only places left on Earth that hasn't been fully explored. There are parts of it that it's just blank on the map because they've never explored there. They don't know what's there. They don't know what's going on. So, firstly, that must already freak you out. Imagine that 21st century. They have no idea what's going on down there.
But do they need to know if there's nothing going on?
Well, they don't know what's going on. There could be stuff going on.
No, but there's no chance that they'll go, we haven't been over there, and someone goes and there's like an Arndale centre. Nothing's going to be there, is it? So there's no...
Well,
no
I'll tell you
point.
what is there, okay? There's these various small tribes, okay? This guy goes, he's amazing, right? Now, the thing about these is that up until the 60s, and even more recently, some of these tribes are still cannibals. They're still cannibalistic, okay? Eating people from other tribes.
This is going on now.
Going on now. It's generally stopped, but it still does occasionally occur, alright? So this guy goes to live with them, right? They walk around, you know, obviously naked, except for a little leaf just above their genitals. It's not covering the genitals, it's just above the genitals.
Do they know they could move on? Have they got a telly? Or have they seen a telly and gone, I'm not up for that? Or are they saying...
It's not the Amish.
They haven't chosen
But what is
this.
the difference between the Amish and these people?
Well, the Amish are a group of people that choose to live in that way. These people are just essentially untouched by civilization. I mean, they do have interaction with civilization, and people do come there, but they still live in this very, very almost prehistoric way. They go around, they have homemade weapons, they kill pigs and hogs in the undergrowth. They live in kind of tree houses.
They did buy a telly, but there was nothing on because there isn't any broadcasters.
They couldn't plug it in.
Yeah.
They're having an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
But there was one guy, okay, now he said that his brother was dying. This was a couple of years ago, right? His brother was dying. He said to his dying brother, what happened? Why are you dying? This guy said it was a bloke in another village. Okay, he goes over to the other village, he kills this other bloke, right? He eats him, or eats bits of him. The other village gets a bit annoyed. They go, what's going on? Why'd you kill this bloke? He went, sorry about that, right? They said, well, you need to make it up to us. He gave him a pig. They said, a pig's not enough. They gave him 5 pigs.
Hang on, who are they giving these pigs to? The tribe?
To the tribe of the bloke who he killed and ate. So 5 pigs apparently made up for the fact that they'd killed one of them. They said, well, hang on, what are you going to do with this bloke's wife?
Why were they bartering? Why didn't they just get the police in and say, what's going on?
What police?
Yeah. Why didn't they call Morse? I mean, what? Yeah. What? Why didn't they call in Kojak? Because he'd have sorted it out, wouldn't he? Or who else could they have called in? Columbo would have sorted it.
I don't understand. What are you saying? There's 2 tribes.
There's a number of different tribes, aren't there? I've just explained that to you. There's a number of small individual tribes in this dense Papua New Guinea forest.
With a load of pigs.
With a load of pigs. But the wife of the guy that he killed, Nate, they said, what, we don't need her now, we don't want her. So she had to come and live with the murderer of her husband. So she's living there now. You know, happy as Larry.
But what I mean is, right, they're miles away from anything, but it doesn't sound like the great place to live, right? Could they not move? Could one of them go, do you know what, I'm sick of this. I'm moving or whatever, and go to a proper city. How far away is this, these Papa people, to the next...
They're like the Smurfs. They're very like the Smurfs.
But how many miles away from a place with a normal life going on?
But think about this, Carl. Firstly, they don't speak the language, so they don't have any practical skills. They've got no experience of civilization. So even if they chose to go and live in one of these cities, what can they do? How can they function? They'll spend, 15 years just trying to figure out how everything works.
Mind you, I have had the same thought about Inuits.
Right.
If you live in a house made of ice and eat fish all day, and then just stay in for 6 months, move. I really do. I mean, I don't understand why they're living there.
I think there's some bacteria that has better lives than that.
That's got to be offensive.
Why?
Okay, how about this is one of the weirdest things. This is one of the weirdest things, right?
An entire race
Just
of people.
dismiss.
No,
Just dismiss.
I'm not having a go, but I'm just saying, I wouldn't fancy it, is what I mean.
But they
You know what I
don't
mean? We're living
know
in
of
ice.
another world. How can they imagine that they could... Oh, I'll tell you what, this is boring. I'm tired of hunting for food and eating fish from the river. I'll tell you what, I'd like a world where there's iPods and room service. I'm going to go and move to New York. They're not thinking like that, are they, Carl? Because they don't know about this other world.
Which is why, in a way, Carl can't offend them, because they are not listening to this podcast.
Very unlikely. Very unlikely.
You're not going to get any nasty letters from Eskimos, or Inuits as they want to be called now.
Does an Eskimo ever...
Inuit.
Do they ever
Inuit.
meet, like, an English person on holiday? And an English person goes, it's choppy here, isn't it? Or whatever.
Well, what do you think?
It's just that people go to, Steve said before about places he's been to where people are still walking about with swords and that. People go to these places on holiday now. They like a little bit of danger. We like to see how the others live.
Mm.
So all I'm saying is, we know they exist.
Yeah.
The Papa people, maybe people aren't going there. It doesn't sound like the best place. I can't imagine it having a tourist board or anything, right? But would they accept me if I popped over there and, with Suzanne, sort out a little weekend break and that?
Where are we talking?
We're talking Papua New Guinea?
In Papa.
Well, okay, this is one of the things that they do, okay, which is a tradition you may have to do. These combi, right, they invert their penises, so they push their penises back up inside their bodies.
Like a sock.
What for?
Well,
Keep it out of the way.
Of what?
Well, if you're running through the undergrowth, chasing a hog, you don't want it flapping away,
But
it's also become a kind of ceremonial thing, so if you were over there, you may well have to try it yourself.
You would have to try it yourself. If you went there, you'd have to try it yourself.
But even cavemen had little pants on. Why haven't they...
Whoa!
Slow down.
Rewind.
What do you mean?
Again, you've been watching the Flintstones.
No, it's just,
Is it a leopard skin pair of pants that's actually quite a... Go on.
But it's a well-known fact that they wore, like, bear pants or whatever.
Bare pants. What do you mean, bare pants? No, listen, you are a qualified anthropologist, so what...
I mean that, whenever you see them on footage or in a museum...
Footage!
Yeah.
Or,
Whenever you see that
Well,
early
it's a bit
documentary
shaky,
footage.
it's black and white as well, isn't it? Caveman footage.
You always see them wearing a little bit of fur little pants and that. So, what I'm saying is, even though... What year is it to these people in the woods?
I don't know what this conversation is anymore. He's just clutching at straws. His mind, it's like a fly. His mind, isn't it? It's just buzzing round. It's trying to find a window, and that's your mind. It is just
It's
like
hitting against pieces of information, but they're just bouncing off.
Yeah,
Dazed, perplexed.
Forget it then.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
You can't believe your luck, Rick. Paul, the party animal Parker's been in touch. I imagine the kind of New Year party he was having last night.
I don't want to think about it because it gives me a hangover just thinking about what that dude got up to. Come on, then,
man alive. But anyway, he never stops. He never stops supplying us with little tidbits.
Oh, what's PP done for us now?
He just likes finding little odds and ends and just sending them in. And you remember when we used to years ago? We used to do that thing where we'd read headlines.
Yeah.
And sometimes the headline is all you need from a story.
Yeah.
And this is what's great about this one. If you could give me a news at 10 style bong.
And now the news at 10. Bong.
Boy waited while doctor rode unicycle.
What does that mean?
Well, amazing. A hospital has apologised after a 6-month-old boy waited 2 hours for treatment while a doctor rode up and down a ward on a unicycle. Paula Dadswell has taken her son James to a local general hospital with suspected gastroenteritis. I should point out now, James was fine, it was not a problem. But she spotted the doctor pedalling the unicycle, but was astonished when the same doctor later walked over to examine the child. Miss Dadswell said, "We took one look at the doctor and said, 'You must be joking.' His face went bright red." A spokeswoman for the hospital said, "Of course, we are sorry if distress was inadvertently caused to the mother, and we've offered her our apologies. But let's also remember that we should try and make hospital wards less intimidating places for patients, and we regularly provide diversions that are not directly related to medical care. Many parents have commented favourably on this approach, and indeed about the unicycle."
What I like about that story is that it's the most important job in the world,
Yeah.
and the most useless. Being a doctor is saving lives. It's incredible. It's so noble. Riding a unicycle is the most useless thing
Yeah.
you can do. It's that to me is plate spinning,
Yeah.
juggling, yeah.
Flame eating.
Who goes into plate spinning? Is it like the father going, "Son, when you've finished university, you can take over the business"? But I want to be a doctor, Dad. Look, the plate's nearly, and you're hooked, and you
Yeah.
give it a little push, and you're there, and you're hooked.
It's a dying art. You don't see it as often as perhaps you once did.
Dad, I want to be a doctor, but the plate's nearly dropped, son. And unbelievable.
But what I can't make out from that story is whether the doctor he'd done the 7 years medical training, and then they said, "You're working at this specific hospital."
Yeah.
They whipped out the unicycle. They said, "You're gonna need to learn that as well before we can put you on the wards." Or whether he was practicing. Who knows if he was practicing?
Do you know what I think happened? I think the bloke in charge of the hospital, there was 2 people up for the job. This fella, who was brilliant, he got a first from Oxford, he was amazing, and the bloke in charge's nephew.
Yeah.
And they both scored the same.
He did an Open University course.
Yeah. And they went, well, you're both very good, but who can ride a unicycle?
He whipped it out.
Yeah.
He went, have a go.
Yeah. And he's been practicing. Unbelievable.
But it's also the idea that if it is indeed something which the hospital has initiated in order to cheer people up, particularly kids, I mean, it just seems like a dangerous thing to be doing in a hospital, with all due respect. I mean,
I think so. You could pull out leads, wires.
Anything could happen.
I know, yeah. They get you to turn your mobile phone off when you go into some ward, so please leave your unicycle here, surely. Do not, no unicycles beyond this point.
If you have a unicycle accident, of course, a great place to be.
It is a good place to be.
It's an ideal space to be already.
But who rides the unicycle anyway? Do you know what really annoys me? We live near a park. It's a lovely park. And on a Saturday for about 3 hours, there's some twat hippie with braids, dreadlocks, sitting there, playing one drum. How can you play one drum? He thinks this is brilliant. This is therapy. It's I want to shut the fuck up.
It's nothing. It's not music. It's not percussion. It's not expressing anything. It's just annoying.
Yeah.
So you know, this would be my worst nightmare if you were to take me on an evening out. You say, Steve, we're going tonight, right? You can't get out of it. You've got to do it. It's 2 hours. Stomp.
Oh.
Stomp, where they put dustbin lids on their feet. Now, I mean, I've seen a little bit of it on the Oscars.
Yeah.
It's alright for, you know, 30 seconds. Well done. But what is that show? What is the Stomp show?
I don't know.
I mean, Jesus Christ. After about 15 minutes, you've had enough of that, surely. I'm assuming there's not really a story.
Are they bin men? No, I just wondered how you get into that, how you start practicing and go, do you know what? That sounds quite good.
Yeah, they are. They're bin men, yeah. I was shopping with Karl before Christmas, and we went round sort of Piccadilly and St James's, and those really beautiful shops around there. And I went in one shop. You had to ring a bell to enter.
Yeah.
They came down, and it's like a iconoclastic sort of shop, and they found things from churches and nearly all Russian 16th century pieces onwards. This beautiful carvings and paintings and statues and everything, and I was wowed by it. And this bloke clearly loved his work, and he was, you know, enthusing to me about these stuff. This is from the 16th century, this is Russian, this is and I went, oh, it's beautiful. And as I was looking round, I heard Karl sidle up to the bloke and go, what's the newest thing you've got here?
Yeah, sure, that's his first thought.
I mean, that is the wrong question to ask of a man who's clearly in antiques.
Yeah.
Proud of the fact he's got 16th century iconoclastic Russian stuff, to ask, what's the newest thing you've got here? I mean, what sort of question is that? Oh, I don't know, probably the doorbell. I don't know, what does he want to say with my shirt? What were you thinking?
Hoping for?
I was just making chat with him, because it's the sort of place that I don't think many people go in, right, Steve? When you go up to this shop, right, it's not sat in there. You have to ring a bell. He's getting on with his life upstairs. He lives upstairs, right? You ring the bell to say, "What, I'll come in your shop." He pops down, stands there watching you look around. So it's not a natural way to shop.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? It's not nice having a bloke stood there watching you look at all this old stuff and that. So I was kind of making friendly chat.
Yeah.
And I think it's an alright question, because he was saying there's loads of old stuff in there, and he kept going on about the old stuff. So what did he say? Well, what's the newest thing you've got?
And what was?
Do you know what he said? The other question he asked him, he said, "How often do you get new stuff in?" And the bloke went, every day. And I said to him, why did you ask that? He said, well, I was thinking, if you got antiques and you sell it all, what's left? Like, someone's going to sell all the antiques in the world because they're not making. He said, because they're not making any new stuff. What does that mean? They're not making any new stuff.
But I know for a fact no one's ever going to go in there and buy the lot anyway. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I'm not at any point in my life, and I don't think it'll ever happen, will I go, I need some old Russian wood. Because
it was brilliant.
No,
it was, Steve. No. It was beautiful. It's amazing stuff. There's stuff. There's these things from the 16th century of sort of like saints and monks, and they're carved.
But
and
there's loads of it. It's just all piled up. No one's interested. If I was him, I'd go, do you know what? I'm into this, but no one else is. Close shop. Because seriously, it's just piled up, piles upon piles of like old bits of wood with pictures on it and that.
But just think of a man 400 years ago that carved this, you know...
No, but nobody wants it, do they? I've never heard anyone say, you know, oh look, it's my birthday coming up, I'll tell you what I'd love.
What?
Bit of old Russian wood. It doesn't happen. That's what I'm saying. I've never heard anyone saying it. Like, I've never overheard someone saying, you don't know where the Russian shop is, do you? And this is in London where the rates are high. There was this thing, right, Steve? You know, again, making chat. Loads of bits of wood with, like, them old drawings on, like...
It was like a panel from a church that someone had painted.
Right, yeah.
And I think it was like, you know, from sort of like 1590 or something.
Yeah.
And it was this, a picture of this, this saint, wasn't it?
So 1590. Could be from any time, really. So there's this one there, right, leaning up against the wall. And, most of them in there was that Stalin bloke, right? But there was this little...
Right, can I just stop with there? Lenin.
Right,
Okay.
alright then.
Yeah.
So he was on all these bits of wood and stuff, but I saw this other little face, right, little fella with a beard, right? So I said, who's this bloke here? He said, the story there, right? He said, it's this little fella who went a bit mad or something, he got mugged back in Russia. This is right, isn't it? This is what he was saying. He said he got mugged.
It's just that term, I love that term in a 16th century Russian wood. Oh no, I'm being mugged.
So he got mugged.
He got happy slapped.
And he said, I've had enough of this, right?
Yeah.
And he went to live in the woods, right? Made like a little shed, stayed there. People went to visit him, and like, if you got a problem, you knock on his door and you go, oh, I'm sick of it. And he'll sort of say, yeah, I know what you mean, I've moved out of the city and what have you. And he'd make them feel better, and then they go again. Now, why has that man got a plaque? If he was around now, there's no way he'd have a bit of wood with his face on it, is what I'm saying. If someone had got fed up with living in London or New York or whatever, and they go, I'm going to go and live in the woods, people wouldn't visit him, and he wouldn't get a piece of wood with his face on, is what I'm saying. But this man is selling it for about, I think it was about 750 quid for this bloke's head. He's having a laugh.
Because it's 400 years old and beautifully painted.
But the chances are that this is either a well-known Russian folktale, or it may even be a piece of classic Russian
He's
literature.
a saint. He was a saint. He was
well, in which
canonised.
case,
Yeah.
Everybody was a saint years ago. That seems to be, like, thrown about, doesn't it? Who's a saint now, in this year? Who's a saint? Name him one now. Yeah, this fella lived in the woods in a hut. Oh, yeah, that's Saint John or whatever. He's not a saint. He's done nothing. If anything, he's sort of said, I can't be bothered with living in a city with everyone else. Everyone else has got to put up with it, but I can't put up with it. I'm going to live in the woods. Well, if you can't put up with it, you're not good enough, are you? You've got no stamina. And yet he gets a plaque, is what I'm saying. It's annoying.
Who would you like to see get a plaque in the modern world? Who deserves a plaque, in your opinion?
Probably, like, nurses and that, who do a lot of bad things that I think I couldn't do that. Carrying lungs about and all that. No, but I couldn't do you know what I mean? That's one job that... my mum wanted me to be a doctor.
Whoa! What was she thinking? Oh, what's her expectations like now?
Apple didn't fall far from the tree.
Oh, when did she start giving up that dream? At what age did she start going, Carl, you don't need to study your books anymore, go and play with the worms in the garden? When did she sort of, like, let you off that dream?
Is it the day that she caught you with a spoon up your nose?
From the creators of The Office, Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant. Extras, the first series, now on DVD.
Who are you?
Nobody.
What's that? Who?
Nobody.
That's right. Nobody. And who am I?
So the Starsky Hutch, I can never remember.
You are guaranteed an Oscar if you play a mentor.
I've just written a sitcom, but I wonder if you could give it to anyone you know.
Is there any nudity in it?
Well, it could be.
Men or women?
Either. Well, just women. Yeah.
I will make it so.
A painfully funny double disc. Extras on DVD now.
That was a good advert, wasn't it?
I'm just remembering some of the great jokes in that show.
What was that for? I always forget what adverts are for. So it was for...
That was for Extras, available now on DVD.
So if you've got vouchers for Christmas, you could go to a shop and buy...
Go to the shop, yeah,
extras.
Definitely. Absolutely. You could walk straight into any kind of shop, high street shop, and say, excuse me, have you got extras on DVD? I've got some vouchers, and exchange them for a copy of the DVD.
Right, and that's big in England and America, isn't it? So on HBO in America, so it's a very successful...
Americans, I guess, the great place to buy that would be on say, one of the websites, Amazon, or one of the internet shopping
.com
companies.
or .co.uk or Play...
And search for it there. But,
.com. And I mean, if it's going the way of The Office, which is the most successful British sitcom ever, I mean, I'd invest now. I'd say I was round at the beginning. I bought extras on DVD the first year it came out.
Get a first edition of the DVD.
Get a first edition of the DVD.
That'll be highly collectible.
And there's great extras on there. You see Sam Jackson and Kate Winslet and Ben Stiller.
Rick, there's some wonderful behind-the-scenes footage, and there's some wonderful little documentaries about, the making of the show. I mean, to me, it just makes perfect sense. It's a great way to see in the new year.
Right, but if you are going into Amazon .co.uk and you're buying extras, buy a copy of Flanimals. More Flanimals is available now.
Yeah, I don't get any money from that, so I'm not gonna talk about that.
No. Just buy Flanimals, more Flanimals.
Well, don't keep going on about it, 'cause
Okay,
that's not fair.
extras.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming up, the Mega Dance remix of I Could Eat a Knob at Night.
Plus, of course, monkey news.
Yeah, and if you've got any monkey news, by the way, just email it in. What is it? Podcast at rickygervais.com.
That's right.
But don't be asking any questions about monkeys and that, because there's too many people asking about what's going on in monkey world and that. And I can't do it to everyone.
Well, you're gonna bring up any kind of big monkey information.
If they need to know
every
that,
week.
I'll have it every week. But it's just that a lot of people, they've got a taste for it. They want to know
Talking
what's going
of
on.
monkey news, if you want to learn more about Karl, we've just put up a big biography, and there's some pictures that you haven't seen before of Karl Pilkington, and you can go to rickygervais.com and check out the roundness of his head and some of his stupid ideas.
But anyway, talking of emails and that, right? Nick Decker, who's emailed from Australia, right, Melbourne. He's been going on about dolphins and that, problems with dolphins.
What problems?
He's just saying when that wind happened.
What?
There was like a bad wind thing going on, and
Not your Auntie Nora again.
There was a load of dolphins in like a bay.
Hold on, wait a minute. What bad wind?
In America, they had that
Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
Right.
And there was like a little bay with dolphins in it, and
Right.
that, with all guns on them and stuff.
What? Whoa! Rewind. What do you mean?
Do you know
dolphins?
they use dolphins, don't they? They say they're an intelligent animal and stuff.
Yeah.
And they've got them all like, they've all had the training. They're all like ready for battle and stuff.
Right.
Got like rifles on them.
What do you mean rifles? How can they hold a rifle? How can they hold a rifle?
No, it's sort of on a strap and that.
What do you mean it's on a strap?
I don't know what they kit them out with, but they're just ready for war. Whenever
What are you talking about?
Listen though, that isn't the point. Don't worry about it.
Oh, we leave
But what
that
I'm
one, do
saying
we?
is-
That's not the point, so let's leave it.
So they're swimming about and that,
Yeah,
in this
with
little bay,
rifles and berets.
whatever they've got on.
Yeah.
right, ready for battle and stuff.
Yeah, ready for battle, yeah.
The wind comes in.
The wind
right.
comes
Hurricane
in.
Katrina.
Makes a wave and that. They get out of the little bay,
Yeah.
still all kitted out with all the weapons.
You're talking
and that.
bollocks.
Steve, do you want to look at the email?
Well,
mate?
there's no way. There's loads of dolphins now swimming round, kitted out
Causing
with
problems.
guns and that, with a strap. How can a dolphin hold a... Again, you've been watching Planet of the Apes.
They just say they say they're an intelligent animal and that.
Yeah.
People are trusting them, right? And
Brilliant.
Look, here's a dolphin.
Oh, he's trying to talk to us. What's he saying? He's saying, go ahead, punk, make my day.
Look,
You're
I'm just-
talking shit.
It's just news to say if there's dolphins, if you see a dolphin in that, don't go, oh, it's friendly, because there's some with weapons now. So I'm just reading it out on email. That'll cover it and that. So
Bollocks.
and more animal stuff, right? Your girlfriend
Yeah.
Jane, right? When I was round there the other night, she was talking about they're getting closer to doing the mammoth.
Oh yeah, they're genetically engineering it. They've there are a few sort of million bits and pieces away, but they reckon they're going to be able to build a living mammoth in 2 years. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently,
What sort of Jurassic Park type stuff?
Sort of. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think of that, Karl?
Do we need them?
What do you mean?
Well, is it worth messing about? Because I always think, well, whoever's like knocking one of these together, right?
Yeah.
They must be pretty bright. Right?
Yeah.
So whilst they're messing about with an hairy elephant, could they be doing more useful stuff that the world needs?
Well, it's sort of like it's fascinating. Even if on the face of it, it looks pointless, which it rarely is. Scientific discovery. It's about conquering nature, isn't it? I mean, that's amazing, isn't it? That you could bring a mammoth back. What are the implications to bringing a mammoth back? Could they aid the workload? Could they feed the starving? There's
What, so
applications.
you're saying
Well, I'm not
bring
saying
it back
anything.
to kill it, to eat it?
Well, I'm not saying anything. I'm saying that rarely is scientific discovery pointless and a waste of time in the greater scheme of things. We learn from this, don't we? The fact that it can map DNA of a mammoth, what are the implications there? Could we bring back, I don't know, Churchill? Could we bring back Nelson? Would we want to? Is it moral? That's another question. But the feet alone, and I don't mean its feet, I don't mean we can bring back mammoth
I could
feet.
tell that was what he was thinking when his eyes moved.
Yeah, I meant the achievement alone is remarkable. Putting a man on the moon, pointless. But what a feat!
But don't you think...
Not impressed by putting a man on the moon?
No, we've chatted about the man on the moon, you know, some people like it, some don't. I'm not going to argue about it, do you know what I mean? If you were behind it and that, good on you. But I'm not that fussed. I don't think we've learnt that much from it. You went all that way, popped a flag up, came back. What have we learned about that journey since? We haven't really been back.
We conquered space. We just conquered space. That's what we do. We see what we can do. Why climb a mountain? 'Cause it's there. What's at the bottom of the ocean?
Yeah, but I don't agree with people who climb mountains for the sake of it. It's all right if you've got to get over it, but don't go up and then go down again.
No,
just go for a good walk.
Well, I don't mind as long as they don't strain the emergency services. If you're a posh bloke going up the mountain in a beard and you get stuck, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
And then it's, you know, people have to risk their lives going to rescue you because you wanted to laugh. I agree with that, actually.
But don't you think the world's busy enough? It's like you can't hardly move. You know what I mean? And mammoths are taking up quite a bit of room if a load of them come back. We've already got elephants, which in my eyes are good enough. They do, you know, they carry stuff about and that. What's going to be better, a mammoth or an elephant? Because I can see that one of them's going to have to go at some point. If like we start running out of elephants, would they say, well, it doesn't matter, we've got mammoths and stuff. So what's the point?
You don't need anyone else in the room for a conversation, do you?
No, but what
He's arguing with himself.
He's arguing with his own head.
Amazing.
Where would you put the mammoth if they get it going, right?
Yeah.
They pop it on give it the old electric shock and that, wake it up, and
Frankenstein has been watching.
And it's like,
all his information about science is about the Flintstones, Planet of the Apes, and Frankenstein.
In his head, they've got an elephant. They've put some carpet tiles over it, and they're trying to bring that back to life as a mammoth.
Yeah, forget it then.
Carl, can we have some monkey news before I die?
All right.
Oh, chimpanzee that monkey news, yeah.
This week, what I thought I'd do, right, because we're getting loads of emails from people who haven't really heard much of the monkey news that I've done in the past, right? And a lot of people are sending through one of the first ones that I did that was a good monkey news. I think it's worth hearing again, just in case you forgot about it, 'cause it's sort of classic monkey news. I don't know if you want a different jingle.
Well, no, I mean, it's just, you know, if it's anything that you've ever said, it's not true anyway, so carry on.
Well, it was a true one, because this is the one that, like, this is, like, world-known monkey news. A lot of people will send this through, it's the most popular one, right? And it's about this monkey that was knocking about called Ollie, right? It's called Oliver.
Yeah.
And, it was in this zoo, and it was the only monkey in there, right? So
this is the one they think was the missing link. It was half human, half ape. That programme on television, because it had bald. It looked like you, which doesn't mean it's half anything.
It might have been that one. What happened is it was in the zoo and stuff, and it was getting a bit lonely because, like, it was sharing its sort of time with, say, an elephant and a giraffe and that.
No, it doesn't happen.
And they didn't really
wait,
they
do not
let me just tell you.
They do not put chimpanzees in with... No, well, it's not true. Why would he share his time with an elephant and a giraffe?
Gervais, it was some kind of flat share. They put an advert in the student union.
Yeah,
saying we've got 2 rooms to let.
African mammal wanted. Not specific.
A mammoth and
what I'm saying is there was other elephants for elephants to knock about with and that. The monkey, it was the only one there. So what happened is the zookeeper felt a bit sorry for him.
Right.
He was like, oh, look, he's looking all fed up and that.
Yeah.
And like you say, I think he went a bit bald because he was bored and that. So he started to sort of get pally with him. So at lunchtime, when the zookeeper was sat on the wall having his, like, ham butties or whatever, he'd sort of go, all right? And it used to come over closer and closer, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, within a month, he was sat on the wall having his lunch with him, right? And...
What wall?
Just a little wall in the zoo.
So they let the monkey out. The monkey could come and go. He had his own door key.
Just near where the monkey is, it used to just pop over.
Oh, these blinking latchkey monkeys.
I know, yeah. He was 21. Yeah, go on.
Sit there having his butty and that with the monkey and stuff.
Yeah.
And anyway,
the ham butty,
as time went on, because the zookeeper back then, zoos weren't as popular as they are now. So it was only it was him on his own really. So he found like the monkey was the closest thing.
Absolute rubbish. The zoo could not run with one zookeeper.
This is a true thing. I mean, this is what I'm saying. A lot of people.
But the height of popularity for zoos surely was in the Victorian era. So
yeah, exactly.
But anyway, go on.
Carry on.
But you're sort of picking up on little things that aren't important. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
but anyway, so he sat there, and as time goes on, you know, he's sort of sat with him most of the day. Monkey's walking around with him, helping feed the other animals and that.
No.
But then what happened is the zookeeper at the end of the night when he's like locking up and stuff.
Yeah.
He'd feel bad because he'd be leaving the zoo, and like Ollie's sat there, and he's like, "I'll see you tomorrow," and the monkey's like, "Yeah, right, see you later." Looking all fed up because he's got home to go to, and he's still stuck in where he's basically working every day. Right, so he's never going home, right?
Now he's sleeping at work, the monkey.
So anyway, the zookeeper goes home, says to his wife, "Look, Ollie's having a bit of a time at the moment." So she said, "Oh yeah, what's going on?" He said, "Well, he's just looking a bit fed up, you know, he's sick of it." So she said, "Bring him home." So he said, "Well, I did what I asked, but I didn't want to force it, you know."
This conversation didn't happen.
So anyway,
I love that he's giving it in such detail.
Yeah, I know, it didn't happen.
So
this
anyway,
is in your head.
So she said, "Yeah, bring it home tonight." So anyway, he's looking forward to going into work and that. He sees Ollie. He doesn't tell him straight away.
It's a surprise for him later.
So,
God.
So they go through the day, you know, usual stuff, feeding elephants and all that. It gets to the point when it's like they have the lunch and that. It gets to the end of the day.
Yeah.
And sort of Ollie's there, he's looking at him like as if to say, "Well, there you go, another day, another busy day and that."
Little does he know.
See you tomorrow and stuff. Anyway, he's like, "Get your coat." He's like, "What?"
Coat? What do you mean, get your coat?
Whatever the equivalent is, right? Whatever you say to a monkey, it was kind of like, you know, "You're coming with me," sort of thing.
Yeah. Right.
So he's going, "Oh, brilliant." Anyway,
no, he's not!
So
Why do you mean he's going brilliant?
He takes it home.
So he gets his hat and coat.
He gets his hat and coat and stuff.
And he
Can't believe his luck, right? He
Yeah.
goes back to the zookeeper's house. Everything's going well for about a week and a half.
Right. Has he
He's
got his
at
own
home.
room?
He still goes, like, to work and stuff.
To the zoo, yeah.
To the zoo.
He doesn't work there!
And then he comes back with the zookeeper. But anyway, what ended up happening is, so anyway, he's back at the house, and it's going well for about a week and a half. Treating him really well. He's sat there, you know, he's having a brandy at night before he goes to bed. Zookeeper noticed that when he took it back to work, it was kind of getting flashbacks of not having a good time in the zoo, right? So he was like, this isn't helping him out. He's happy when he's at home with the brandy and the fags and that. When he comes back here, he's starting to look a bit fed up. So he said to his wife, "Look, you're at home all day, right?
Oh, Jesus.
I'm going to work. I'll leave it with you, right?"
Yeah.
So Ollie stays at home.
Yeah.
Anyway, as time goes on,
Yep.
a little bit of trouble. Whilst the fella's busy at work, grafting, paying the bills and that for Ollie at home, Ollie starts getting a little bit cheeky, tries it on with the missus.
Right. Whoa.
Right.
How does a monkey try it on with the missus?
Are you
Look, this
talking
this
shit?
is classic monkey news. And
How does it try it on with the
So he's
missus?
a bit drunk. He stinks of smoke. He tries it on with the missus. How does he try it on with her?
I don't know all the detail on
You don't know
on that
any
bit.
of the details.
I don't know the detail on that bit. But
You don't
all I
know any of the
No, I don't know
details.
the details on that bit.
You
but I
don't know any of the details.
So what happened? So while the zookeeper's away, the monkey did play. What happened? Did the zookeeper's wife reciprocate these affections?
Just a little bit of, like, you know, little bit of fun, I suppose. She probably went along with that at first. You know, she's cooking at home, getting the tea ready. That's walking past, pinching her arse or whatever. And it's, do you know what I mean? It starts off just like it does, you know, with humans. Starts off as a bit of fun. Before you know it, you know, split up in the end. Anyway, the zookeeper and the what's it? I think the monkey stayed with the woman. So, it's all there. It's
Honestly,
all on email, mate.
your imagination.
Well,
you
look
should
it up.
write stories. You
Get
should
people-
write. You
Get
know,
people to look it up. Just put in monkey, chimp, Ollie, and it's all there.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Happy New Year, particularly to those great guys at Positive Internet for hosting this podcast.
Dynamite.
The world's #1 podcast, thanks to the guys at Positive Internet. So, check out rickygervais.com to check out Carl's head. You know, go and buy extras and flannels. Check it out on flannels.com.
Oh, come on, this is shameless.
Um,
Extras still available.
Fridge freezer for sale, £400 or nearest offer.
Steve Merchant wishing you a happy new year. I'm sure Karl Pilkington wants to reciprocate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you know what I want to wish them? I want to wish them a fantastic New Year.
Nova night. I could eat a Nova night. Nova night. Nova night. Nova night. I could eat a Nova night. Nova night. Nova night. Nova night. I could eat a Nova night. Nova night. Nova night. Nova night. I could eat a Nova night. Nova night. Nova night. Nova night. I could eat a Nova night. Nova night. Nova night. Nova night. I could eat a Nova night. Nova night. Nova night. Nova night. I create a Nova night. Nova night. Nova night. Nova night. I create a Nova night. Nova night. Nova night. Nova night. I create a 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 Nova night. 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 Nova night. I create a Nova night.
Right, you're talking shit. Explain yourself. Welcome to the 6th podcast in a series of 12. The Ricky Gervais Show, available online with me, Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant.
Hello.
And Karl Pilkington.
Alright.
Halfway through after this then, Karl.
Yeah.
You enjoying it?
It's alright, isn't it?
It's had a great response. We're the #1 podcast in the world. We've had thousands of emails and messages, and it's just great to know that people all around the world are listening, don't you think?
Yeah.
It's great, isn't it?
I should just point out, Rick, that we've had a few emails, including one from Mark Pavlidis, that says that some of the people listening on the enhanced podcast, so, you know, these fancy people, super rich people who can afford that one, apparently sometimes if they try to pause the show halfway through, it sort of freezes, and they've got a problem restarting it. And he's saying that apparently you should just hold down menu and select, and that'll reboot it. So I don't know if you have had that problem.
Hold on. Who's pausing this show halfway through?
I don't understand it.
I can't believe it. This is like a book that you can't put down.
What have they got that is better to do with their time?
What can be better than listening to Karl's drivel and his stupid theories? Unbelievable. We've got a little email straight away, Karl, from Nikki in Beverly Hills, California. She says, Karl, you rock. I hate it when Ricky and Steve ridicule you. I checked out your picture on rickygervais.com. Although your head is not normal, that's no reason to ridicule you. You look gimp, but I never judge a book by the cover.
Cheers.
Is that all you've got to say?
Well, it's only 'cause I've got no hair though, isn't it? That's why it gives that effect.
No, it's perfectly round your head. It's perfectly spherical head. Your face is slightly too big for it. It almost goes over the sides. Perfectly round head, pug little nose, funny gimp eyes with no expression, hangdog look. Like a little mouth, like a little lamprey, not formed, not human formed. The way your expression is like you've had a lobotomy. Your head goes weird at the back. It's got a little nod in it, like it's really strange, your face, and you're stupid.
We've had a lot of emails saying that. I mean, I think he's just paraphrasing, but... talking of emails, you know, a couple of... I can't remember which show it was, but you mentioned, Karl, that you'd only recently seen a Chinese homeless person.
Oh, yeah.
And it really surprised you because you'd never seen a Chinese homeless person.
No.
And I actually went along with that. I've still never seen a Chinese homeless person.
Well, that's... other than obviously people contributing monkey news, the search for Chinese homeless people has been overwhelming on the email. People are just, people are actually going out looking for Chinese homeless people. Now, I can just tell you now that there's a few responses from Los Angeles, people saying there are quite a lot of Chinese homeless people over there because apparently there's a huge homeless community in Los Angeles. So definitely if you want to see them, Karl, that's the place to go. But we've had one from Vancouver, Canada, from a girl called Amy, and Amy herself is Chinese, and she says that she realised herself that she'd never really seen a Chinese homeless person. And although she says that apparently Vancouver has the first or second largest Chinese population in Canada, she'd never seen them, and she actually went for a walk around the Chinatown in her area looking for them, and she could not find any on that particular day. So again, Canada obviously not a place to go for a Chinese homeless.
It was just a point though. I don't want people sort of...
Well, hold on though, wait, I'll stop you there. Hello, Ricky, Steve and Karl. I live in New York City and have seen a Chinese homeless person. Not only is he Chinese, but he is also a midget. He's been living on the streets for the last 30 years. He used to dress in rags, but thanks to a coat drive, he's now wearing a fancy Adidas jacket, right? Now he encloses a picture, he says he gave him $10 to take the picture, and I've seen it, and he's a little Chinese midget fella.
I'm just getting a bit worried that people are going out there, sort of, looking for these. Because
that's what you requested.
No. But all I was saying is, I saw one. I didn't start saying, "Excuse me, can you just give us a smile? I'm taking your picture." Do you know
We've
what I
had
mean?
loads of pictures of people.
I know, and it worries me a little bit. And I mean, it's not too bad about the one who took one of a little midget one, because if he kicked off, it'd be quite easy to sort of hold him back. But I'm talking about fully grown.
So is that your warning to people? Don't be taking pictures of fully grown Chinese homeless.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, don't be messing about going up to strangers and that and annoying them and stuff, right? Maybe
Well, I think that's a good rule of thumb. Don't annoy them. But I mean, that is a hell of a sighting, isn't it? We asked for a Chinese homeless, and they gave us a Chinese midget homeless.
Many of the listeners are aware, Carl, that you're sort of fascinated by smaller people.
Well, he's fascinated by difference, I think.
Yes.
I don't think he's having a go at people. You're not
Never having a go.
when you sort of stare at someone because they don't look like you, and let's face it, most people don't look like you. You're not having a go, are you?
Well, like I say, the first time I saw Steve, I was never having a go. It was just, oh, that's different. But Steve, I was never having a go. It's just that thing of, oh, right, interesting.
What do you mean?
No, just I've said before about when I saw Steve and what have you. Now I've got used to it, and
Steve
it's the
got
same.
used to it. What
I don't know. Well, you know my feeling with this. I don't really know where he's coming from.
But Steve knows I'm not having a go either.
Yeah.
Carl used to carry around a book that was called the Top 50 Freaks of All Time.
Well, it's interesting you should mention that, because we actually had an email from Richie, who says that he's been a fan of ours for many years, and he's listened to lots of the radio shows we've done in the past and things. And he says, of all the people you've discussed, Carl, in the past, including some of the people from your odd magazines, who would you most like to spend the day with, of all those people that you've encountered?
Favourite of all?
Well, certainly who you would want to spend time with, who you feel would be the most fascinating, the most interesting. I mean, let's just recap on some of
Pillow Man, the bloke with no arms, no legs that can roll a cigarette with his mouth.
Yeah.
No, not impressed with him.
That's not sufficient.
What about the three-legged juggler?
So hang on, let's just recap for new listeners. This was a man with 3 legs?
3 legs, right. And it said his job, he became a juggler.
Okay.
Not using the gift that he'd been given.
What you suggest?
Anything. Running, swimmer, just...
Yeah.
But yeah, what are the others? What are the other ones?
There was a picture of a gentleman, you were fascinated by him, he used to play the piano.
Oh, he's got a tiny head, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's the one who, he sort of ages fast.
Right.
So, like, every other week he's having a birthday and stuff. And, yeah, that was weird.
He's not having a birthday every other week. His body's just aged, so it has the appearance. His biology is sort of like he's 70, but he's only like 15. They don't have a birthday every week. You idiot.
But yeah, I don't know about knocking about with one at a long time though. That's
only for a day.
Yeah. Suppose it depends what I'm up to. Because if we're going out and about, the Pillow Man would just be a bit of a drag.
Whereas if you're going for a walk across, the 3-legged guy, ideal.
So yeah.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Lots and lots of people emailing just with questions for Karl. People just want to get his opinion on stuff. So if you have questions for Karl, keep them coming in. podcast@rickygervais.com. We can't really reply to your emails, but we do read them, so we really appreciate them coming in. Just a couple of quick ones for you, Karl. Wendy says, if Karl had to eat the same dinner every day for the rest of his life, what would he eat? She mentioned this because she was having Christmas dinner and it was a big, she loves Christmas dinner.
It's the trouble with Christmas dinner. I mean, the roast dinner is the king of dinners and the Christmas dinner is the king of roast dinners.
Yes.
But you can't have one every day.
No, it's absurd.
But it's brilliant.
We have 3 meats in our house.
It's unbelievable. The amount of meats is just amazing. It's just a plate of meat.
It's just meat.
With one Brussels sprout. One token Brussels sprout and the gravy. Oh.
You see, it depends, doesn't it? I mainly eat just so I keep going. I'm not that bothered about... Because I don't really taste it anyway, I just shove it down.
You're like a... What, you're like a horse?
But at what point did it become important that things were sort of, seasoned or garnished to go with it and stuff? At the end of the day, we're all eating, aren't we? So you can move about and that and you've got energy.
Well, we need to know what we're tasting, don't we? Because we need to have certain things. We need sugar, we need salt. So we need to know what they taste like to know we're getting them.
No,
your body
now we've
craves
got
them.
chefs, so leave that up to them to make sure we're
I
getting
thought you were
salt.
talking about an evolutionary standpoint and how it evolved, not there was a little
Do you
chef
think that's likely?
No, but leave it for them to make sure, you know, we're getting safe food. I mean, to be honest, it annoys me the way people worry about food now and how there's so much to choose from. I think it's got out of hand. I'll watch...
Any form of choice really worries you, doesn't it?
No,
you don't like choice.
No, choice is good, but not too much. It's like with anything now, if you go into a toffee shop, there's like loads of different...
Where are you going to find a toffee shop?
You're in a fairy tale.
Yeah, you're in a Dickens tale in the 19th century.
You're in Shrek. And
you go into a toffee shop.
What's your point? You go into a toffee shop.
What I'm saying, you go into a shop full of toffees.
You just come from the candlestick maker.
Right? You go in there and there's just too much choice. It's like, what? And I can stand there up to like 4 minutes, sort of going...
Up to 4 minutes.
So specific.
4 minutes.
So he's in a toffee shop in a top hat.
Well, he's only got 4 minutes. He's only got 4 minutes because you've got to get down to the pea green boat that he's sailing off in.
No,
Good morrow.
Well, forget the toffees.
Can I have some of your finest Oxfordshire toffees?
So you'd prefer it was just one selection of toffee, that's all they've got?
Well, maybe two. What I'm saying is, right, there's now too much choice. Whenever you get a menu in a restaurant, it's not like you don't just go, oh, right, what is there? Yeah, I'll have that. There's too much. It's like a book now, isn't it? And you look at it all. And then you've got to that point now that people are even taking a risk when they're eating.
What do you mean?
You know, in Japan or China or something, they're eating that fish that if it's not cooked right, it can kill you, right? Yeah. Not worth the risk when there's so many other fish.
Yeah, I agree. Why
have mackerel, have a bit of cod or whatever.
As
soon as there's a risk, take it off. Take it off the menu.
I agree. I totally agree.
Not worth
it. We've got a fish that might or might not kill you. Well, is there anything that definitely won't kill you? Yeah, but a chicken won't kill you.
I'll play safe then. I'll have that.
I love that. I love the chicken.
That's what I'm saying.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
But anyway, we were talking about sayings and that. Right? Stitching time saves 9. Don't. You know, I'm never going to use that. I don't think anyway.
Okay.
Suzanne.
You're never going to understand it fully, are you?
Suzanne repairs me stuff anyway. It doesn't really matter. But what about the one? About the one in greenhouses and that?
People who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
Yeah.
What?
Does that confuse you? You've never understood that one?
No, that's a lot clearer, isn't it? It's sort of saying, don't be chucking stuff about if you're surrounded by glass and what have you.
Yeah, but don't forget, it's an analogy, it's a metaphor, it's not to be taken literally. It's not really just talking to people who live in glass houses. It's saying,
hang on, sorry, before you say that, Rick, I'm intrigued to know if he's fully got to grips with this. Okay. Just give us your explanation again of what you'd take that to mean.
Well, just don't be chucking stuff about. Really?
So, well, if that was it, they just say that.
No, but that saying's been around a lot longer than we think. That's when people probably did live in basic glass houses and stuff.
No,
what they mean now.
Who has ever lived in a glass house?
So cavemen went from rock to a nice crystal structure, did they? What are you talking about? When did people live in glass houses?
What they mean now, when that saying's used now, they mean sort of, you know, plasma tellies, ornaments.
No, they don't.
They're saying don't chuck stuff about, because
No,
you'll break it.
No, it's not about damaging your own property.
They don't mean you're inside the glass house throwing rocks inside your own glass house.
It's a metaphor. It means don't be having a go at people if you yourself have got more to lose. Do you know what I mean? It means it could be anything. Don't start a war where you could come off bad as well. It's about how fragile your situation is. If you live in a glass house, metaphorically, don't throw stones at someone else, because when he throws it back at you, your house is more easily damaged than his. Again, metaphorically.
It doesn't mean that if you're living in a glass house or in a house with other precious objects, you don't, in your own home, throw bricks about. Because that would be a very specific audience that I was trying to reach, that phrase. I mean, let's be honest, what kind of a mental
case? Do you know
case?
what? I think we've got the crux to this, right? I think I can answer. Right. Karl, what is an analogy?
It's sort of like a little story told quickly. Isn't it?
It's a little story told quickly. To what end?
Well, it depends what the story is.
Okay.
Depends.
Give me an analogy.
Well, for me, I thought a one with the greenhouse.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a greenhouse. Before it was just a glass house.
Yeah.
Alright, then a glass house.
Okay.
Right. What I mean is that glass house is metaphorical. It's about the fragility of your situation as compared to your aggression or your...
You see, I just prefer sort of, what you say is what you mean. So people who live in a glass house have to answer the door.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I mean, because you may be a genius, because I don't get that. People who live in glass houses have to answer the door.
Okay, let's hear his explanation.
Because the people knocking at the door will be able to see you, because it's a glass house.
But what?
But you literally mean it, don't you? There's no analogy there or metaphor for you. You literally mean if you live in a glass house and someone knocks the door. So there's no hidden meaning there, is there?
Well, normally...
Couldn't that also, you have to add a number of other things, other caveats. Surely, if you live in a glass house, don't walk around naked.
Yeah.
If you live in a...
These are literal. See, if you could actually make that into quite a nice saying there, because if that meant, if someone said that to me and they weren't a shaved chimp, right? If they said people who live in glass houses have to answer the door, I think that means, yeah, it means that there are no secrets. You can't hide behind anything. If you're very open, if you've chosen to be totally open all the time, you can't go back on it. So people, if you wear everything on your sleeve, if you shout around and you tell the truth, and you can't go back on it. They can see through you.
It can mean that as well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's handy. But just the idea that in your head there should be sayings for people who live in glass houses. Who is it that's living in a glass house?
Well, I'm not talking about them. It's just that if everyone else is bringing up about these people who are living in glass houses, let's get to the real problems they've got.
He still hasn't got to grips with the idea of the metaphor or the simile.
People who live in glass houses should live near a glazier.
Right. Well, here's another saying, right, that I learnt recently from a mate, right? Oh, there's an elephant in the room.
Okay, I haven't heard that one, but explain it to me.
It's like when something's going on in a room, right, but no one's mentioning it because everyone's a bit too sort of... But in a way, it's better that it's out. It's like how, whenever we go out for something to eat or a drink or something, it's normally after about 5 minutes, the sort of topic gets onto the shape of my head.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
I can't resist the shape of your head.
Right, so you're happy
It's
talking
not just
about
the
it.
shape, though, is it? It's the state of it as
No,
well.
but what
outside and in. I mean, it's a fascinating little objet d'art, his head.
But what I'm
it's
saying...
perfectly round. It's got no hair where it should have. And it's hollow.
The features are slightly too small for the face.
Yeah, unbelievable.
No, but what I'm saying is, it's interesting how, like, I'm the elephant in the room, right? Nobody's talking about it. You mention it once, suddenly it's the talk of the town. It's what I mean. Everybody starts joining in, going, well, yeah, it is round, but it does suit you. And these are people who I don't even know sometimes, and they're all dipping in. And that is an elephant in a room.
So you don't want people to discuss the shape of your head or the lack of hair? You would feel better, you would feel happier that they didn't mention that?
Sometimes I think it's better that it's out there. It's made me a stronger person, though. It's the same way, we were talking about religion and that. Samson Delilah, he got weaker without hair. Whereas with me, I think it's made me stronger. Because, it's almost like it's treated like a disability. Everybody's sort of mentioning it and talking about it. What's it like having a bald head? And, you know what I mean? So it's made me stronger.
But would you ever wear a wig?
Not really.
What was a long wig like Samson?
Well, the only time I wanted a wig was when I did jury duty once, wasn't it? And it was annoying that I was sat on the jury, right in front of, like, these criminals, right? Everybody else has got disguises. The judges have them wigs on, right?
That's not disguises!
It is a disguise. That's a disguise. That's why judges wear them, right?
No! Well, then what if they print their name in the paper and have a picture of... What do you mean it's a disguise?
It's a disguise, isn't it?
No! If it was a disguise, they'd go in with one of those glasses with a nose and the beard attached if it was a disguise. All judges would look like Groucho Marx if it was a disguise.
Well, I'm just saying that's what annoyed me when I was sat there on the front row, right? I couldn't have been any closer to the criminals than that, right? I was sat there and I thought, why didn't I just pop a little wig on or a pair of glasses?
I would have loved to have seen you in the front front row at Crown Court.
No, because
I'd love to see it because in this country you're not allowed to show pictures of jurors. You can't take photos in a courtroom, so there's always these sketch artists that draw drawings, and it's on the news. The idea that we'd have seen 11 people and a sort of Krusty the Clown figure would have been amazing.
Yeah, I would love to see the artist do an interview, because it would be like complicated people. Oh, hey, he looks characterful, and then just a little round head.
Charlie Brown.
Charlie Brown sitting on the end.
Carl, you said that your New Year's resolution was that you were going to learn something every day.
Yeah,
have you learned anything today?
If I can. Today, like, I don't know the full facts of it, but...
Could I just say that when someone says they learn something new every day, that doesn't count if they forget it the next day?
No,
because that'd be Groundhog Day learning.
Well, the thing I learnt today was about an octopus.
Oh,
Go on.
What they can do is, you know, they've got 8 legs and that.
Yeah.
They
Tentacles.
they can use 6 of them legs to cover their head, so they look like a little stone, and use the other 2 to run off. Right? But that's
He's thinking of Squiddly Diddly.
Yeah, it's a Disney image in his head, isn't
He's
it?
thinking
They're
of
pink.
but anyway, that's you know.
So
that's
it's
not the
Pink
main
singing
thing.
a song in your mind and running off, yeah.
No, but anyway, but something else I learnt, right? It's mainly about animals and that, because that's
Yeah.
normally quite interesting.
Yeah.
There's a chicken somewhere,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and
Specific.
and the owner of it was getting fed up because, you know, he had to feed it and that, but it wasn't.
Embellishment,
it
guesswork.
No, come on, let's hear it.
It wasn't giving anything back.
No eggs.
No eggs, right? So he was like, "Oh, I'm sick of this." Anyway, someone told him, pop a little axe next to its little house, right? So when it comes out in the morning thinking, "Oh, I'll have another lazy day doing nothing," right? He saw this axe, and suddenly it was like, "Oh, right."
I'm for the
Next day,
chocolate thought, yeah.
it laid about 6 eggs.
It's rubbish.
Through
Squeeze them
worry.
out.
It's
super
rubbish.
quick.
The chicken wouldn't recognise an axe as a threat. It wouldn't be able to reason that, I better start working, or I'll be meat. I better start. It's absolute rubbish. Once again, it's this ridiculous thing you got that one personifying animals to reasoning powers better than yours. I mean, I think, you know, you make chickens and monkeys cleverer than you in your stories, which is weird, okay? It didn't happen and wouldn't work. Next! What else haven't you learnt today?
No, well, as always, things like that always get me thinking.
What
right?
else haven't you learnt today,
No, hang on,
Carl?
he's got his mind's working now. This
Go
apparently
on.
has got his
Yeah,
mind
so that's
working.
rubbish.
Well, do you think then that it's worth looking after animals then if there isn't any memory? If they don't know what's happening anyway, you're always going on about don't be cruel to things.
Yeah, why would you be cruel? There's one thing about imagining chickens can reason, and because they can't, being cruel to them. Why does it matter whether an animal can reason or not for you not to be cruel to it? The reason I don't like blood sports isn't the fact that there's a fox missing. It's the psychology of the people that get off on seeing an animal ripped to pieces. They wouldn't like it if it was a robot. They wouldn't care. For some reason, in their psychology, they like this sport. Why does it have to be a sport? They're not culling. They're not putting things down for a good. They like to see this fox ripped apart or a bull tortured for their own pleasure. That's why you shouldn't do it. Why would you ever want to be cruel to an animal, whether it can reason or not?
No. I mean, I don't mean really cruel, but I mean like there's an advert on that's on in the, you know, in Britain, advertising some supermarket, right? And it's saying, you know, we look at before, you know, we kill our chickens and what have you. They have a great life. This is like the voiceover, and you see happy chicken.
Yeah.
And it's going, we give it a good little house to live in. It's got straw.
Yeah.
It eats good.
Yeah.
And then we kill it. Right?
Yes, but that's better, isn't it?
Well, no, I don't think it is, though, is it? Because at the end of the day, if I was that chicken, right, I'm that chicken, loving my life. I can't believe me luck, right?
Well, we'd be pleased, because at least he'd be able to do the show, and we'd have some interesting conversations.
Yeah.
So there it is, right, wandering about. It's got its nice little field that it's working on.
Yeah.
It's got its nice food and everything. But it's going to die.
Yeah, we're all going to die.
But then, if you were like a rubbish chicken, that had like a rubbish life, you'd be going, "Oh, kill me."
Carl, they're not thinking what's going to happen tomorrow.
They don't know that they're going to get for the chop, are they?
A chicken's not going, I'm fed up with this. I can't wait for that axe to be used on my neck.
Yeah. Well, that's another. Now you've mentioned the cutting off of an head, right?
Yeah.
On the chicken. That's something else I've learned, right?
It's like a pinball is mine.
Amazing.
Isn't it? Ding dong bong dang ding ding da da. Oh, Ed, ding ding chicken head off. Bing doing.
No, right, but this was in a proper science magazine as well, right?
Yeah.
So you can't have a go. This wasn't something on the internet. This was printed in a magazine.
You read it.
Okay, and what was it?
And here comes the filter. It's going to come out nonsense.
Right, well-
you could have Professor Stephen Hawking sitting there whispering stuff in your ear, and it could all be true. But when you said it, gobbledygook.
Well, let's see then. Let's see, right? What they've done another experiment, right?
Yeah.
They've cut somebody's head off, right? And you know how they used to do it in the olden days, where they'd put your head in a stock, cut it off, for whatever reason, right? You've done something wrong, right?
Mm.
And the question that everybody used to talk about in the village was, you know, oh, I made eye contact with it, right? And it was a bit worrying because he was looking at me and he looked fed up and that.
No, he's dead.
So they've put a bit of work into this, and they've done it again somewhere, right? And they've worked out that when the head comes off the body, it stays alive and that for 30 seconds.
Well, no, they don't know that. They can never know that.
No, they did it. They did this experiment.
What's alive? What's alive? But there's loads of issues here. One, no one's experimenting with human beings cutting their head off, Carl.
Well,
two, no.
So you read this in what? Executioner's Monthly?
This is in
no,
a
two,
proper-
Carl, it's what your definition of alive is. Because you can be alive and have no conscience.
No, but this is where it gets weird, right?
Yeah,
I haven't told you that.
this is where it gets weird. You talking about it.
So the head's off, right?
Yeah.
And what they did was they chucked a load of questions at it.
All sanctioned by the government.
Yeah, this is all fine.
So the head lands perfectly on the neck and goes, what do you want to know?
And it said
so they're asking questions and it's going, do you know what? To be quite honest, I don't answer your questions. I'm a little bit annoyed about the execution still.
well, that was the interesting thing. They said it's about...
No, it's not. It didn't happen, Carl.
Let me hear it.
Oh, don't talk
Let
shit.
me hear it.
What are you talking about? Who these people around in white coats going, quick, ask it a question. It's bleeding.
Right, so they said for about 25 to 30 seconds, the last 5 seconds it is sort of like, can't be bothered answering them.
Right, but prior to that,
apart from that, they were chucking stuff. I don't think it spoke. I don't think it was like, 2 and 2 is 4 and stuff. It was more, it was to do with blinking.
So blink once if you say yes, blink twice.
So I told it, said, listen, when you die, you're probably not going to be able to talk because your jaw's going to be on the ground. You're not going to be able to open your mouth. If you do, you'll fall over backwards and hit your head. Now listen, blink 1 for yes and 2 for no. Yeah, right, yeah, not too bad. Yeah, is the axe nice and sharp? Yeah,
Promise?
you're
Do you
talking
promise?
shit again.
You promise to do it? Yes. All right.
Well, yeah. The thing is, they wouldn't be able to do it with you, because if they cut your head off, it would just roll. It would roll away, because it's perfectly spherical. They would go, oh no, there's
Plus, it takes about 20 seconds whenever you ask Carl anything for the question to process and for him to start to formulate an answer.
Anyway, if people listening and that, if they learn anything, that's amazing. Just send it in, because
it'll come out gobbledygook when Carl tries to translate it.
Interesting facts is what we're after then. Plus, also, if you've got any questions for Carl, if you just want to see how his mind works, then you can get in touch with us.
Or whether his mind works.
Indeed, we've
Any
proven
doctors,
that.
psychologists out there.
Podcast@rickygervais.com. That's how to get in touch.
Carl, it's what we've all been waiting for. Oh, chimpanzee that monkey news.
Right, well, this one sent in from Sam in New York, right? And it's about a fire that happened, right? In a really, do you know, like in New York, they have loads of big buildings, don't they?
Yeah.
Right, really, really tall ones and stuff.
Skyscrapers.
Yeah. And there was a fire in one of them, right? So they did as expected. They called up, fire brigade and that. They turned up, right? Fire engine parked up. It's like, right, where's the fire? And they said, oh, it's on like floor 100 or whatever. And they said, oh no, we've brought the fire engine with the short ladders.
Stupid mistake, but go on.
Right. So anyway, so the fire's going and that, and they're saying, is there anyone in there? They go, I don't know, there might be someone up there, but the telecom's not working and stuff.
Who do you think might be up there, Rick?
I don't know. But
just a woman, I imagine. Just a woman or a child.
Is there a fireman that could climb up a building at all without a ladder?
That seems unlikely, but go on.
Go on.
So anyway, so they said, well, how are we going to get up there?
Yeah. We can't.
But they've only brought the short ladders.
No, we can't. Let's go home.
Yeah,
okay, that was monkey news.
So they said, well, there's a lot of like grippage.
Because they made up words. The firemen, the NYPD firemen.
There's a lot of grippage!
on the side of the building and stuff. So anyway, they said, why don't we just go and get a monkey, right? So they got a monkey.
Whoa, that's a bit of a jump.
Is
They
that
just-
policy now in the New York Fire Department?
Well, you know, you've got to think quick, haven't you? At the end of the day, if people are up there, you don't start querying if it works or not. You try everything that you can to help someone out, right?
That's the first thing I thought of, was it a monkey?
So it was quicker for them to go and get a monkey than to go back and get the long ladders.
Why don't they get
Okay, fair enough.
Why don't they get Spider-Man?
Yeah, call Spider-Man.
Yeah, call Spider-Man.
So anyway, so they got a monkey down there, and they said, right,
Where'd
well,
they get it from?
We don't know, from the local zoo or something.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So they said, look, let's, we've got to remember there could be someone up there,
Right.
and it'll shock them a bit if a monkey comes in, right?
Yeah.
So they said,
Yeah, I don't think they'd care.
Get it
If their building's on fire, they're not going to go, oh, it's weird, there's a monkey at the window. They'd be screaming, save me! Oh, there's a monkey. Oh, where are you
anyway,
from then?
So they said, right, we'll just get it a little small uniform and that, the smallest you've got.
But, whoa, hold on though. Actually, where are you going to get that? I'm going back to the station. We'll get the long ladders while you're there.
No time.
No time. No, I bought the small uniform. I just didn't bring the long
Yeah.
ladders. You're an idiot.
So anyway, it goes up there. It's got all the kit on and what. It's got its little ardor on and all that. It grabs. There was like a little person up there. Manages to grab that.
Not
give
a
it a
midget.
little.
Who was up there then?
It was just
Someone that was just the right size for a monkey to be able to rescue, which is handy. Because if it'd been anyone else, like a larger person or a family, we'd all been screwed.
No, I don't know about the size of it, but it's just the story's saying how like it was quite a big monkey, and that it was good at breaking down doors.
Oh, yeah.
It was good at climbing into small spaces and
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
like that. Anyway, it
But
managed
so it's big enough to carry a fully grown man, but small enough to climb through a cat flap.
yeah,
Sure.
So
Which is handy.
So anyway, it managed to
Did
get
it have
the
the boots
person
on as well?
It got the person and everything, and now it says it's sort of it's on call if they ever need it again. So-
Sure, and if they ever get anywhere again and they've forgotten the long ladders, but there's plenty of grippage, they just call for Coco.
So that's this week's monkey news.
Bollocks.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our podcast there. Another half hour of absolute drivel. I've been Ricky Gervais. With me, Steve Merchant.
See you next time.
And Karl Pilkington.
Uh-huh.
And we'd all like to thank those brilliant guys at Positive Internet for hosting this podcast brilliantly. Positive Internet hosting the world's #1 podcast. Here's DJ Reach Around.
It is hard eating a knob.
So what are you saying? You could...
I'm saying like I could eat a knob at night. 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 Knob at night. I could eat a 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 knob on a stick. I could eat a knob at night. 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 Knob on a slip. I could eat a knob at night. 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 I could eat a knob on a slip. I could eat a knob at night. I could eat a knob at night. I could eat a knob at night. It is hard eating a knob.